Let's preview! Let's preview sees me looking at West Brom versus Liverpool this time out, and it's a very important game it's a very important game for us. I don't know if it is for West Brom. They're doing pretty well this season as far as I can tell. Even though their form in the last 5 games in all competitions isn't that great. So in their last 5 games, they have only won once, which was against Arsenal, and they won 3-1. They've lost 3 times against Southampton, Watford and Everton, and they've drawn against Manchester United. Now, Liverpool, in the last 5 games, we have won against Burnley, drew against Man City, won against Everton, drew against Bournemouth, and then we won against Stoke, which was a very, very, very good performance in the end. But we cannot start how we did against Stoke in the very first half. We cannot have a start like that at all against West Brom, because I believe that West Brom are a little bit more dangerous. They've got players that are a little bit more dangerous than some of Stoke's. One that comes to mind always for me is Salomon Rondon. He's got deceptive pace. He's a highly physical guy. He's very good with his head. He's good with his feet as well. And it depends what we do defensively. Now, the rumour is that we're going to stick with a 3-5-2, which, fine, fair enough. I think that is actually it's not a bad idea, because we are going to need as much height as we can get in our defence to go against West Brom. And the fact that they're very good at set pieces, I don't know what the new percentage is, but the percentage that I heard last time was about 48% of their goals come from set pieces. So you know exactly where the danger is. Everybody knows where the danger is with West Brom. You just have to defend against it properly, which means that we'll have Klavan, Lovren and Matip in defence. Now, I think they were thrown into this position like last week against Stoke, and they weren't necessarily familiar with the formation. Hopefully, they'll be a bit more familiar with it this time, what their roles are, what their jobs are, and who they should be marking at what times and in what instances, because they're going to need to be very, very tight. They're going to need to be very focused on keeping their attacking players out, even their defenders, because their defenders are giants. So they've got to keep those guys out as well. It's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a physical game. If it's anything like the game that we had earlier in the season, which we won 2-1 at home, and it was goals from Mane and Coutinho, and they had a goal through Macaulay, it is going to be a tight game. I think that we can win it, though, and we need to win it, because we need to keep the pressure up on everybody else around us. People that are below us need to win their games if they want to catch us. The ones that are above us will have a little bit of pressure as well. We currently sit in 3rd anyway. So having Tottenham in front of you, I don't think we're going to catch Tottenham. I think 3rd is the highest that we could go in this league this year. But I think it's a good place to be. I've been wanting Liverpool to get 3rd for a while now, so that we could secure ourselves. We secure our Champions League ambition, and that would be absolutely fantastic if we can do that. It also means that if we can lock out other people, like, will Arsenal resurge a little bit, and will they come back up? I don't see it personally. How about Everton? Not sure. Really, really not sure, because they can blow hot and cold quite a lot. Manchester United, again, they're drawing a lot of games that they maybe feel that they should be winning, such as the Europa League game against Anderlecht, where they drew 1-1. They get the opportunities. They're not actually taking them a great deal. Without Ibrahimovic, where would they be this season? I'm not entirely sure, because he scored a boatload of their goals this season. I know that for sure. So in terms of Liverpool West Brom, now we still have, as far as I can tell, I'm just going to consult my browser. As far as we can tell at the moment, there's still no Henderson, no Lallana. Now apparently they're going to be coming back next month, which is a bit of a longer layoff than I was expecting personally. But there are a couple of players that we do have maybe now available that could feature in some way. Marco Grujic is one who hasn't featured in a long, long time, been battling a very, very difficult injury, and he's apparently back into the team, could be on the substitutes bench, maybe feature some part in this game, but I think he'll be more, maybe the last 3 games of the season, something like that, and he might feature then, maybe when we've secured our Champions League place. I don't know. You never know. Daniel Sturridge, who I thought had a brilliant substitute appearance against Stoke last week, because he was very key. He was key in getting the ball into the box for Coutinho's goal, getting it into Emre Can, Emre Can, I don't know if he was trying to pass it or not. I think he tried to have a shot. It bounced off. Coutinho gets it and slams it into the bottom corner. He was very good though. Sturridge's movement is something that is very, very good in short bursts. Because if you start Sturridge, and for me, even though Origi didn't do it against Stoke, and he wasn't, he was trying some things, he was getting some shots off here and there, but he had a pretty ineffective performance in my opinion. I would still go with Origi to start and Sturridge to come on later on, either as a replacement for him or a replacement for someone else, and have Sturridge and Origi up top. If we're going to go 3-5-2, I still want Sturridge and Origi to be a partnership. I think it could be a good partnership. You got two different strikers. You got Origi, who's a bit more physical. He's gaining. Seems to be gaining a bit more pace every couple of times we see him. He's getting a little bit more of his technique and using skills and stuff and getting past defenders. But then you've got Daniel Sturridge, who's a very, very skillful player, has a hell of a left foot, and he can be very tricky for defences, midfielders as well, because he's got a very good pass on him as well. He's got, when he's on form, on his day, he's a very good at linking play around him as well, which I think is something that Origi doesn't necessarily do. He's purely a striker. Sturridge, I think, has actually got a little bit more of a well-rounded game. It's just we don't see it enough because he's too injured all the time. Yes, he's lost that yard of pace, which is going to kill his game regardless. I don't like saying it. I don't think that Sturridge will be here next year, because I think he's going to Klopp will bring somebody else in who does have that yard of pace, maybe even 2 yards more of pace. He's going to need that. Sturridge is a very skillful player, and we can utilise him very well here. And I think he'll come in off the bench again. So I think the regulars are basically going to be there. I think the rumour is that Firmino and Coutinho will be starting this game, which is very, very good to hear. Very, very good to hear, because once they came on against Stoke, they were so vital in turning that game around, because it basically flipped the game. Just those two players flipped the game on its head. And I think it was harsh against Woodburn and Alexander-Arnold, but it wasn't their fault that they got substituted. They just couldn't affect the game how these two can. These guys are next level. These guys are top class players. Absolutely wonderful players. They will pretty much play together all the time. They play in the Brazil squad and they play for Liverpool. They have a connection, and it is just absolutely wonderful to see. Firmino especially. Firmino's going to be buzzing off that confidence that he will have got from that beautiful, beautiful goal. That was Suarez-esque all over the internet, and everyone was just like, me, myself included, haven't seen a goal like that, taken with such confidence, and scored in such a great way since Suarez. And that was exactly, there have been comparisons to Suarez, Firmino and Suarez in some parts. He's always willing to try and, keep running for the ball if it's a lost cause or not. Great stuff. Absolutely fantastic. And I love that guy. Love that guy because he pops up with vital contributions to goal, whether he scores it or he's helping setting it up. He's absolutely vital. The same as Coutinho, though. Coutinho is vital to our way of playing, just as Mane was, and we are going to miss Mane so much for the rest of this season. Very, very much so. But I think everybody else can come in and they're going to do a great job. I really do. I think having maybe Lucas in the midfield with Emre Can and Wijnaldum, that'd be pretty great, because as you've got to remember, we've got no Henderson and Lallana either, so we're missing those guys. But I think that Wijnaldum, he puts in a very good shift. His contribution sometimes goes understated. It really does. And I just think he could have a very good effect on this game as well. Emre Can, he can contribute very well as well. He's coming into a lot more form. He's playing better as the season goes on, as it's drawing to its close. He needs to start seasons like that next year if he's going to be with us, if he's going to sign this contract or whatever. Lucas, he's better in midfield than he is in defence. There's just there's no two ways about it. He is better in the midfield. His actual position, he's very, he's got so much experience. He's the most experienced Liverpool player that we have currently. I imagine that we'll have Mignolet in goal, and rightly so he should. He should keep his place after the performance and the friggin' world-class saves he pulled out against Stoke. Absolutely he should be staying in there. No question. I think you'll then get... Now, do we put Milner left wing-back? Do we give Alberto Moreno a shot? I'm going to have to go for the consistent one, and I'm going to have to go for Milner. Purely because... there are other options. You could put Nathaniel Klein there. I wouldn't, because he was awful over on the left side against Stoke. That's just it. It's not his position. He should be over on the right, and I imagine Nathaniel Clyne will be over on the right. Now, you could put Alexander-Arnold over there, who seems to be a bit more of a versatile player, but it's a lot of pressure to put on someone who's maybe not necessarily played that position a great deal. Let's go with Milner, because I think Milner has been over that left side all season. He knows it in and out now. He should be over there, and I think he'll be able to deal with the guys that are over on the left that are going to come from West Brom. Now, West Brom are obviously going to pose... They've got some towering people in their team. But we have a towering defence if you look at it, with Joel Matip, Lovren, Klavan. I don't know all of their heights, but I think at least two of them are about 6'3", 6'4". You've got enough height in there, enough physicality, enough intelligence, especially in Matip, I would say. Not saying the other guys aren't intelligent. I just think that Matip is a little bit more intelligent with his defensive work and how he reads the game than the other two. And I think the other two are better for Matip being in there. This is if they're going for a 3-5-2. So, they could throw a curveball and go for the standard 4-3-3. But I imagine getting that much physicality into that back five, I should say. Back three and wing backs, never mind. Anyway, let's move on. Getting as much physicality as we can, height and intelligence. They just have to be intelligent themselves. Stop committing. If we end up having loads of possession, don't commit to going further up the pitch than you need to. We have enough players in the midfield and the attacking to deal with setting up chances. I want my defence staying back and defending, not running forward. Matip does like to do that. That's one thing it doesn't annoy me, because he does have good range of passing sometimes. But he will start running into the midfield, going over the halfway line, just to find a pass, like a 5-yard pass. You don't need to be doing that. You do not need to be doing that. I'm sure you can connect it to someone else, maybe pass it to Clyne, and Clyne can run with it. You go back into defence, because this is going to be classic Pulis. He is going to come into this game, and he's just going to do what he always does. He's just going to put balls into the box and hope that someone gets onto it. Now, the other thing that they could do, if our defenders overcommit, is Rondon's got some pretty good pace about him. And he could get in behind our defence, and he's got good finishing as well, generally. So, we could leave ourselves open in a fair few ways. I hope that we don't, and I don't think that we will. There's no injury concerns for Pulis, and he'll probably end up fielding the same team that he did in his last game. But they lost 1-0 to Southampton, and they are not on a good vein of form at the moment. They haven't won a great deal of games in their last couple, as I said at the start of the video. So we've got to take advantage of that as well. For them, they'll be looking to, we need to bounce back and we need to get a result. This could be the perfect game to do it against Liverpool, who had, we are susceptible to being counted on. We're susceptible to aerial balls and stuff like that as well. It's a catch-22 all over the place for both teams. I think that Liverpool are going to win this game. I think it's going to be the exact same scoreline as the reverse fixture earlier this season, and it's going to be 2-1 to Liverpool. I think it's going to be a very tough game. It's going to be a very physical game. I think the defenders are going to have a very tough time of it. They're going to have to do a lot to keep out those guys. But if we can maintain possession, control the midfield, defenders do their jobs, Mignolet do his job as well as he did it against Stoke. Don't have one of those performances where he's had a blinder against Stoke and then he has an absolute howler against West Brom. Let's not have that happen. I think the team will go out of this one very well up for it. Firmino and Coutinho starting as well is going to be key. And I think we'll have a good bench because of it as well. 2-1 I'm predicting for Liverpool. But what do you guys think in the comments below? Let me know your thoughts ahead of this game on Sunday. Like the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you ever so much for watching as always. And I'll catch you later.